Welcome to the Green Room, your backstage pass to the world of surfing. I'm your host, surf MC and commentator Terry Tappa, diving into epic wins, crushing fails and wild stories with surfing's biggest names, as well as the legends working behind the scenes to keep that stoke alive. A big shout out to our sponsor for this episode, the Official Beer Co. with their new GC Lager. So wax up, paddle out and join us in the Green Room, where the surf chat never goes flat. G'day folks, welcome to the Green Room. My first memories of today's guest was when I was cutting my teeth at Burleigh with my brother Robert and my good mate Marcus Moore, both goofy footers. We lived in Miami, and as soon as the wind was south and the swell was up, we were at Burleigh. There are a lot of guys out there who dominated the lineup, but this bloke stood out. Guy Ormerod, tall, lanky, a man who could drive vertically off the bottom and hook up under the lip and then ride out under the curl, repeating the dose many a time. My mate Marcus Moore and my brother Robert, I reckon, got their own style of that going just watching him. He's won an Open Club Championship at round in his 50s and still dominates the lineup, particularly when the waves are solid. But he's more than that. A husband, a father, a grandfather, a man of God who has travelled as a missionary overseas, and before retirement, a pastor at King's College. He surfed against the world's best and has respect from surfers all around the world. Most of all, he is a good guy. He is Guy. Welcome to the Green Room, Guy Ormerod.
Thanks, Tap. Awesome.
Mate, it's so good to have you here, and so many of my guests have talked about you because, you're a bit of a well-known figure around the place, but your early life, were you born on the Goldie?
No, I was born in Sydney. My dad was a Maroubra surf lifesaver, so I'm one of the original Bra boys. My mum was from around Matraville, Botany. That's where my grandparents were from. And so early years, I was born in Paddington Royal Women's Hospital and Sydney boy.
Wow, and when did you come to the Gold Coast?
My dad worked for Thies Brothers. They were a big contracting firm.
Yep.
And we moved from there down to Husky, and then from there out to the Snowy Mountains. And then by the age of 10, I'd moved about 8 locations and then finally ended up on the Gold Coast because of all the canal contracting, the contractors and building all the canals. And my dad was, working there, and that's how we got to the Gold Coast.
Rightio, at 10. And, mate, how did you find surfing or surfing found you? How did that happen?
Well, my dad was a lifesaver, and the first time we ever saw waves was at Palm Beach, the first day we got there. And it was a dumping shore break, and he grabbed me by my arm and my leg and threw me into a closeout shore break. I got absolutely smashed, came up crying, and he goes, "No, that's the worst thing that's going to happen to you. Go out there and have fun."
Oh,
and
wow.
I just took it up from there, surfing the old cool lights,
So what's the first wave that you really remember that sort of hooked you like on surfing? What was your first wave that you remember?
I think it was when we got off the cool lights. I mean, cool lights were great, but they used to rash us so bad.
Oh, hectic.
And we used to try and stand up on them, so we'd go through them all the time. And then we'd get one and we'd try and stick bits of timber in it as fins. Yeah. And then a guy saw me riding these cool lights. He was a surf lifesaver at Palm Beach Surf Club, and he had a Mick Kerry 4'3" twin fin, square tail with the old sort of half moon shaped fins, and one of them had been knocked out. And my dad said, "Well, I can he got a bit of araldite and a bit of timber and stuck it in there, and that was it. And that was my first surfboard."
So a twin fin, but that would have been way before the twin fin era as such, wouldn't it?
Way before.
So what year's that about, mate?
Oh, that was in, I was 10, so it was in 1968.
Wow.
Yeah, 1968. Yeah.
So a twin fin in 68, that's like start of the cut down era and everything.
No, it was just a Mick Kerry. It had no rocker in it. It was just like a surfboard cut in half.
And that's when you got your first wave. Where was it at, your first real kind of wave?
At Palm Beach, in front of the surf club, because I used to live across the road. That was our first place, because all Broad Beach and that were getting developed, all the canals, and my dad worked at all the canals, and so our first spot was at Palm Beach, and then from there on we just moved to Burleigh, and then a few other locations on the Gold Coast.
Yeah, I remember the canals being built and all those big earth movers going on at the back of the caravan park. We used to sit there playing in the sand and watching the big things. It was amazing because really back then, the Gold Coast existed to the Gold Coast Highway and maybe a couple of blocks back, and then it was swamp, eh?
Yeah, like back then, like Mullerwood Drive and that was just all bush.
Well, that's like Rabina and all that. That was the sticks.
Yeah.
And kids who went to school like Marymount from Mudgeeraba, I said, how'd they get to school on time?
Well, Marymount was in the sticks.
Yeah, it was, eh? Yeah, it was way out. It was way out. Now, so from that, mate, you started obviously surfing, and you had a bit of talent as a young fella. You seemed to go pretty good from what I remember and what I've been told.
So I started surfing at Palm Beach, and then my dad had a stint in the lockup for a few reasons, and so my mum, because my dad went to jail, what do we do with this woman with a couple of kids? So Tweedhead's Bay Lodge was a lodging house, and so she ran that, and that's how I got to meet Michael Peterson and Tommy Peterson, because they had the pool room underneath.
Ah, right.
And because everyone from Coolangatta, like PT would come and play pool there, and Rabbit would come and play pool, and I was only just started surfing. I was mostly only 11.
So you're a grommet, and they're kind of like
a little
teenagers,
bit,
are they?
Yeah, they're older than me.
Yeah.
And then I joined Kirra Boardriders first.
Kirra.
And then from there, there was a few contests on, and the Gold Coast cadet titles came up, and someone said you should go in it. And I think I won the Gold Coast Cadet Championships 3 years in a row, under 15.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then got chosen for that when I got to high school, surfing the under 15 schoolboys championship and won that, the under 15 schoolboys.
The Gold Coast or Australia?
No, Australia.
Wow, Australian title at 15, mate.
Yeah. I was only 14.
Oh, you're 14.
Yeah.
And so from then everything sort of just started. You've got a lot more attention, obviously, I suppose.
Yeah, and I used to pretty much just hanging out with the old guys.
Yeah.
And wherever the surf was good, just bum and lift, whether it was Coolangatta or whether it was, the beach breaks up at Broady or whatever. And so hanging with the older guys, I used to just sort of like glean off them, and then you get to surf different locations, and then from then on, after my dad got out of jail, we had to move, and then we moved to Burleigh, and then I joined Burleigh.
A Burleigh Boardriders.
Boardrider.
Wow. And now you're back. You've done the full circle.
That was way back in the day,
wow.
And then from then, Burleigh, there was a few undesirables in the club back then, and so because I was Queensland cadet champion, and there was a real push from the north end of the Gold Coast, and the first major club up there back in the day was like Wind and Sea.
Oh yeah, Mal Chalmers and Paul Nelson,
Paul Nelson, Peter Druin, young Doris and all those guys. Yeah. And so I ended up joining that. And then from there, I got an invite to the first Pa Bendall.
Oh yeah, that's the
and I was only 14, and it was unbelievable. So I got to go up there with the Wind and Sea crew, because I was in Wind and Sea and I was a Queensland Cadet Champion, so I got an invite to it. And then we got up there on the Wednesday, and the Thursday there was a cyclone getting pushed down from the tropics, and the swell was coming up, but also the rain. And so all the roads between the Gold Coast and Brisbane the Sunshine Coast were closed. That was on the Thursday. The chorus was supposed to start on the Saturday, so I had to cancel it. But there was Jerry Lopez and a whole lot of the Hawaiians. Yeah. They got up there just before I got up there. And so we got to surf unbelievable tea tree with my hero, Jerry Lopez, and all the Hawaiians. And we got stuck there. And then the contest had to be delayed until the week after. And then I got second to my mate, Richard Harvey.
Yeah, and that's, the thing was, though, you would have got a bit of prize money for that, wouldn't you, getting second?
It was the richest contest in Australia at the time. Yeah. He won $1,500, and I won $250 for second.
But still,
back those days, it was huge.
Well, I thought that was about a new car, and then I asked Richard about it, and I said, "Well, mate, what was that sort of?" He goes, "Well, actually, I used 1,000 of it and put down a 10% deposit on a house and land package at Dawn Parade, Miami. So
Yes.
a house at Dawn Parade's worth, what, about 1.5 million now?
Yeah.
So that's like 150 grand, really.
I know. It was
So that
worth
was a lot of money. Yeah. So the richest contest, and you actually beat Jerry Lopez by the end of it anyway. Yeah.
And Rabbit and all those
Yeah.
guys. The only guy that wasn't in it was MP. I don't know where MP was that year, but PT. And all the guys from Sydney came up, like Mark Warren, Cole Smith, all those guys, Tappa, Terry Fitzgerald, everyone was there. It was the richest contest, and it was perfect waves. The cyclone was forming, and everyone, they had.
I heard you and Richie were going left too at Moffat's.
Yes, we at the end at the very end in the finals, the tide had come in and the rights got a bit fat, and
Which they do.
it was in my semi. I think he was in the first semi, I was in the second semi, and I just started going left, and he caught onto it, and then we sat on the lefts together. But because he's Richard and he's the master and I was the apprentice, I let him have it. No, not really.
Oh, that's pretty cool, mate. And that's like, honestly, when I would talk to Richard about the money and that, it's amazing. That was like it was like having a CT, really, with all those crew that were there.
And it was really good because Richard took me under his wing at that time, and I got to go to the Bell. He took me to the Bells contest.
So you went in Bells too?
I went in all the contests.
How old were you going at Bells?
14, 15.
Wow, that's a lot for a young bloke.
There's a father, because I got knocked out pretty early, so I used to caddy because there was no leg ropes. Yeah. So I used to caddy. So I used to just go out there and take their second board and sit in the channel. And there was one time it was absolutely huge. And that I had to, Rabbit, and I was a caddy for Rabbit and Ian Cairns. I remember Kanga eating it on the takeoff, and I had to paddle my board over to him, which was his board, and then swim all the way in.
Like not near the button, were you? Or did you go to Winky? Or?
No, it was pretty big, but I was a good swimmer.
Yeah,
my dad was a surf lifesaver, and I learned. I was in the nippers at Burleigh and all that back in the day.
Wow, so that's an amazing adventure for such a young bloke. But I reckon because you're such a tall fella, a lot of people would have thought you were a lot older than you were.
I was skinny though.
Oh, you're skinny.
I was so skinny.
Yeah.
Oh,
mate, that's awesome. So you did Bells and all those contests.
All those contests, yeah.
And then where'd you go from there? Like you got sponsorships and all that
sort
of thing?
Got sponsorships from Billabong, and
that would have been early days of Billabong, wouldn't it?
Well, my wife was one of the first sewers, Debbie Ormerod. She was Debbie Stevens back in the day, but when Gordon first started, he started up at Miami Headland, on the headland with Rick Tracy and a few other, no, not Rick Tracy, Tracy Richmond, I think it was. Yeah. And anyways, it was an old pair of shorts that I had, and then Gordon had a few, because I was only a size 28 then, and so was he. And mine was falling apart. I don't know what they were. They were falling apart. And Rena, who could sew, just unpicked them and unpicked Gordon's and made a sort of a pattern out of a bit of cardboard. And then she sewed them together. And that's how they first started.
So you must have been one of the first sponsored people from Billabong.
Yeah. Well, they changed the history of it. I was one of the first sponsors when you look back in the history books. Yeah. And now it's been taken over by corporations. They've rewritten it. Because they say Joe Engels was the first, but Joe's
way younger than you, wasn't he?
He was way younger, and he came from Sydney.
Yeah,
he came from Bondi, yeah. So.
Yeah, and Thornton was sponsored by
Thornton,
him too.
all of us.
But that's, but that's
history.
Anyway, that's history. We know the truth anyway now, Guy. But mate, so how was it in the 70s and like late 70s? It must have been a little bit debauched, wouldn't it? Like, a bit of like fun and games going on then.
What, in the surf?
In surfing, just had contests and stuff, mate.
Yeah, it was. It was like we actually. What was so good about surfing back then? They weren't separated from the public. They didn't have a contest area, so you could get and go and talk to like Barry Kanaipuni, or my heroes or Jerry. You walk straight up to them and talk to them, and you're in the contest together, and it was just so good. And you're all mates, and you'd free surf together, and you'd travel together because a lot of people didn't fly then, so you'd travel from the Gold Coast to Sydney in a car. I remember having a trip with Al Chapman, Rabbit, and Michael Peterson and Mick Higgins, and I got thrown in the back, and we drove from Sydney to the Bells contest.
With a grommet in the back.
That's how you learn. Yeah. You learn on the street. You learn surfing. The community of surfing teaches you. Yeah. You know, and when you hear of all the stories I've heard from, you know, other guys that have been on your show, it's just unbelievable stories about surfing, and surfing is the teacher. You know?
That's awesome, mate. Now, how old were you when your first time you went to Hawaii then?
I didn't get to Hawaii. See, I got so I sort of did really well up until in the juniors, and then the last year of the juniors. So I got 3 times cadet champion for Queensland. Then I got into the juniors. I got second to Doris. Yeah. The next year I won it, and I was supposed to go to the Australian titles in Victoria. And Mick Higgins and a few guys said, "Mate, we're going to Cactus. Do you want to come?" And I made a choice, you know, a defining door moment, you know, like those sliding doors, whether to go with Mick Higgins and go surfing lefts or go and represent my state. Yeah. And I made a fatal decision then and changed my life in a way. I went surfing with Mick Higgins. And when I didn't go to the Australian titles, I got a 3-year ban from surfing, from Queensland surfing.
But did you tell them you were not going?
No.
Oh, right, okay.
I did the wrong thing because I didn't have a phone. We were at a phone.
Yeah. It's not like you send them a text, hey,
we're in the, you know, we all got scabies. Like we're living in the desert.
How good were the waves though?
Oh, unreal. And like, I wanted to go left. I a kid growing up.
You're a goofy footer, mate.
And so I came back after a 3-year ban, and during that time the stubbies started, so I couldn't surf in the stubbies and all those contests. I couldn't, so I had to sit out for 3 years, and then I was allowed to go back in, and I went in and won the first stubbies trials against Barton in the final. Man on man. Cool. So that was my first comeback after the 3-year ban.
And how old were you then? Like 18 or 19?
Oh, I was a bit, no.
Oh, your 20s?
Can't remember, in my 20s. Yeah.
That's cool. And so from there, did you get back on this contest, like start trying to...
No, I got married.
You got married?
I got married. I started
Did you meet Debbie before she worked at Billabong? Or?
No. Well, so during that 3-year ban, and then I took a time out for a while from surfing, just sort my life out. Yeah. And started going to church. And then from then I met Debbie, and then we decided to have a family straight away. And so I was 21. I was 21. She was 21. We got married, and had Liza, and 3 other beautiful girls, Monique and Danielle, and. So then started going to church and just put a big hole. I kept on surfing, and my sponsors. I thought I'd lose all my sponsors, but to their credit, they kept me, which was good. And then I sort of had a 3-year break when I became a Christian, and then got back into surfing, and that's when I won the stubbies.
So what made you go to find the Lord, mate? What was it? It was like, were you in a bit of trouble and strife, or?
No, but because I lost my mum when I was 15, I moved out of home.
Oh, so you were on your own from 15?
From 15. Wow. I was living at different people's houses.
Wow, from 15.
And that's why surfing was my teacher. And so I left home and learnt from different people and people, it was life-changing. But then during that time, I saw a lot of stuff going down, and it was around that time that's smack and everything came in.
I remember that. I was too young to ever see that, but I remember seeing the guys who did, like one bloke at Nobby's that I used to, was one of the best surfers at Nobby's. Yeah. And he got on the tin tack, and then he was basically gone, and it's like, wow.
I saw so many good surfers come. especially when it hit Coolangatta.
Yeah.
There were so many really good surfers that got caught up on that wrong end of it.
Yeah.
And thank God for people like Rabbit and PT and that just kept that their focus, you know.
Yeah.
That was like a guiding light for a lot of young people, because we all started smoking pot when we were young and that. And then after that, when the heroin came in, it was really sort of dangerous. So during that time, I saw what happened to a few of my friends, and then I just... You know, a friend of mine just talked to me about God, and I just started going to church. And then I saw so many, from my upbringing and coming from a dysfunctional family, I saw the hurt of so many young people. So I devoted my life for 25 years at a school as a chaplain, just helping young people guide through those decisions that every young person has to face, you know. That's what I did for 25 years.
Yeah, because I remember, like, with the Jesus contest and all that was going on, I remember hearing you speak at that. And, like, but what, like, I've known this bloke for a long time. He used to come down to Nobbies and play touch footy or ghetto cricket with us. But Guy's always been a Christian since I've known him. Yeah. But you've never, ever forced your beliefs of God on anyone. And I really respect that, because, you know, like if someone asks you about it, I'm sure you're going to talk to them about it. Is that correct? Yeah,
of course. Yeah, but it's a personal decision. Like, really, the whole Bible boiled down into one sentence is, you know, for us to love God, and the way we show we love God is how we treat others. And it's about loving people, doing the right thing, you know, in the traffic, you know, in the surf. But in the surf, sometimes I get a bit sidetracked.
But I must say, I've seen you angry, but I've never seen you hit anyone. But I've seen you angry, but I've never seen you hit anyone. But yeah, that comes up occasionally. But you know, sometimes at Burleigh you got to speak your mind, and otherwise, you know.
I've been a young guy traveling. You learn very quickly in Hawaii, wherever you're surfing. You learn to respect the locals. You learn, you know, what you can and can't get away with out there. And we need to teach the next generation that there is some rules out there. There is an etiquette. There is a thing of respect and honouring those, you know, that live there.
Like, and the older guys too.
Well, that was what was unreal, because I just finished, you know, going around Australia for 2 years with my wife, and rocking up at places that I used to surf as a kid. And because I was, you know, well respected back then and behaved, you know, when I got to these places, people go, "Oh, Guy, come here, mate. Let's go surf." And they show me, and they take me to the local spots and give me waves, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, you know? That's cool. Yeah, that's what some of these groms are like. I don't think I got a wave to myself at Burleigh till I was 16 or something, because, you know, if you're a grommet, you were just easy.
Oh, I got chased, mate. I got chased. I mean, Richard Harvey pulled me in the line. Paul Nielsen pulled me in the line a few times, you know, and guys like that. Nortza, he gave me a smack under the ear one day, you know, behave, you know.
Oh, well, but that's, you know, it hasn't...
that's what you learn.
Now, mate, at the WSL event, I'm on the microphone, and at Burleigh, there is a big thing, isn't there, about the best goofy foot at Burleigh? It's a sort of a thing, isn't it? You know,
I suppose,
yeah. AB and Jaime at one stage.
Yeah.
And you're one of them, because you're under the lips at Burleigh. Just like it's still etched in my mind as a kid. Marcus Moore did a very similar one too, Marcus. And but I mentioned you on the mic, and I said, well, one of the best goofy footers, Guy Ormerod's one of them. You know, I mentioned a few, but I mentioned you. And I was talking to Kaipo Guerrera afterwards, and I said, and Kaipo mentioned you as well on the webcast, but like I said to Kaipo, I said about Guy, and he goes, he came to Sunset and he showed us, because Kaipo's a goofy too, and he goes, how to surf Sunset like nobody else had. Mate, coming from Kaipo, a Hawaiian, to say that you showed them how to surf Sunset on your backhand, mate. Did you use the same theory as what you do at Burleigh, or what?
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, sometimes, you know, at the cove at Burleigh where it's big, it's like a little inside Sunset, you know, like the bowl and stuff like that. Burleigh's different than Snapper and that. Like, they got just down the line, where Burleigh's peaky, you know, there's a lot more peaks. So, and I happened to meet Kaipo for the first time the other day, and when I said to him, "Hi, Kaipo, I love your stuff on TV. My name's Guy," and he goes, "Guy Ormerod," and then he told me that story, and I was so honoured.
Yeah, like a grommet. He would have been a grommet watching you.
Yeah, well, back in the day when we were doing the circuit, I used to live with Eric Awakawa and Tony Manise.
Oh, right.
And so we would surf Sunset a lot.
Yeah.
And because it was pretty much in our backyard.
Yeah.
And just doing those hooks, because that's on the Goldie, for a goofy footer, all your power comes off the top bit of the wave, never off the bottom. It's always off the top. So as you come off the bottom with the speed from going down the face, you hook off the top. That's what you get your propulsion speed to go down the line.
Yeah.
And it's the same sort of thing, just hooking it under the lip.
Wow, mate. Well, but that's a pretty thing. Now, like, you've done missionary stints as well, mate. And
yes.
Now, was it only to surf breaks or?
I only ever surfed once on a mission trip, and I've done 15 years of mission trips.
Wow! And so, what do you do with that, mate?
It's just so our school that we worked for is a Christian school, and we would do
That's King's College.
King's Christian College, and we would do fundraisers and raise money. The kids would raise money to go to missions, because I believe it's more blessed to give than to receive, and so. For the kids, when they give, they buy a hot dog and that, and all the proceeds goes towards a mission.
Yeah.
And in the Philippines, there's lots of doctors and nurses, but no money for medicine. And so a local organisation or a local church would go into a really poor area, like in India, in the slums. And sometimes we go into in Manila, the rubbish tip. And there's thousands of people living in the rubbish tip. And we would go in there and do a medical mission. So what we'd do, we would provide the money for all the medicine the doctors needed, the immunisations, whatever, and the doctors would give their time. And we would go in there and we'd feed them, and we would put on a whole medical mission for a couple of days until we ran out of supplies and just help. But seeing kids from Australia... So I'd take teams of young people from, when they come back, their parents go, "I don't know what happened over there, but my kid's just so much more grateful and so much more pleasant to live with."
but for them, it's opening their eyes, going, "How good is my life?"
Oh, well, Queensland has the highest rate of teenage suicide in the world.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a shocking statistic.
Yeah,
that was a couple of years ago. I'm not sure what it's like now, but it's because there's so much of a transit population here.
Yeah.
A lot of people come from somewhere. Like a lot of my family are from Sydney.
Yeah.
So a lot of families come to the Gold Coast and then they try and fit in. And there's as you know, there's a local population and there's a tourist population, and it's really hard to break into that local population.
Yeah, yeah. And if you try too hard, that's the worst thing.
That's the worst thing. And so a lot of kids come from their family's been ripped apart, and so they're broken, and that's why. And it's normally when they leave school. So while they're at school, they've got community, they've got friends, they've got a purpose. It's when they leave school that's a real critical age.
So you said you went to Manila. Did you go to other places in the
Manila, we went to Fiji.
Fiji?
I did Fiji a few years. Never surfed. Drove past it many times, but it's I devoted that time,
not to surfing, to doing the work,
to do the right thing, and it's not what I did, but it's showing younger people, mate, what it is when you start giving and loving other people.
I saw a psychologist. I did like mortgage broker. They had this psychologist, and he said, I can't remember the third thing, but the two things he said you need is, one, a person that is your partner that you can unload all your stuff to, and the second is do something for charity. Yeah. And I can't remember what the third was. The third might have been about education or something. But like a lot of people don't realise, who haven't done it, how much doing something for people does for you inside.
Yeah.
It makes you feel really good, because I know
you come alive.
I know. Yeah.
You come alive.
Yeah.
Just don't ask me for a wave at the cove.
No. Well, I do know this bloke knows where to sit. It's kind of my favourite little spot too. There's a spot where, if you know wherever Guy sits, there's a wave coming, but you're not going to get the good one off him. You're not going to get that. Oh, mate. Now, Being a dad, mate, you're a dad and a granddad now. And, Guy, you've got the distinction of the first family that I've ever commentated 3 generations. I've commentated yourself in the single fin and some other events.
Yep.
Damon Nichols, your son-in-law, and now Bam Nichols, little Bam. So 3 generations, mate. It must be great, because I'm a grandfather too, but mine, little Alfie, best thing I've done, I've had a little jam with him. He's playing.
I saw that.
Yeah,
that's good.
It's cute, but mate, to have I remember seeing you out in the water with Bam too, mate. It must be great to go surfing with your grandson.
Oh, especially having 3 daughters, they all surfed, but Eliza was the one that sort of picked it up the most.
Yeah.
But then having 5 granddaughters, and then the one grandson comes out.
So none of the granddaughters want to surf?
Oh, they surf. Yeah, they surf. Two of them are in Palm Beach Boardriders.
Oh, that's cool.
With Bam, and they surf. But yeah, having a little son who's so keen and
he's a frother, mate.
Eliza's a lot like me. She's very competitive, and she's like, she'll really encourage him. Really good. And Damo will, but kids don't want to listen to their parents or their grandparents. They want to listen to Mark Richardson, who's doing an unbelievable job.
Yeah.
What he's doing and raising up all these young guys and training them. Yeah. I know he's doing it, but that's where our next world champions are going to come from. They'll come from trainers like him,
Well, I knew that with my son. He wouldn't listen to a thing I said, but Phil McNamara said something. Oh, that's gospel, and then it's like something I'd been telling him for a couple of weeks, but nah, someone else told me. Yeah. Mate, you've also had a little tragedy in your life where you're losing one of your daughters early on, not early on, as I don't know, what, adult or? Yeah,
she was 20.
20, wow, that must be hard.
Yeah. She just got married, so what... as a dad with daughters, you want your daughters to meet somebody that that will take them for the rest of their life. You raise them up, you train them, you do what you have to do, and then having a good guy to take your daughter and she had just got married. She was our first girl to get married. She got married to a young pastor from Brisbane, and she was only married for 2 months and 2 days, and then she went to sleep beside him one night, and she never woke up.
Oh, wow. Did they find out what it was? Or?
Well, they did, because she was so young. Yeah. They wanted to make sure there was nothing, like that her sisters might be carrying that undetected. Yeah. And they did all these reports, and they come back, no reason.
Wow.
She just no aneurysm, no heart attack. It's just like she went to sleep and never woke up.
Wow, and
it's like an adult SID.
Yeah. Now, so how did the family come to grips with all that? Because I know you got your faith and everything and that, but how did you sort of come to grips with that for anybody out there that's going through anything like that?
Well, it hits you like you've never been hit before. Yeah, your whole world changes. We from just getting married and then finding her home, and that was her first real boyfriend. And she meets him, and then all of a sudden, boom, it hits you. Luckily, a good wife and our faith, believing that all things work together for good for those who love God and are called according to His purpose. And she had a faith with God, and because as a dad, when you give a daughter away, there's that part in the service where it says, who gives this?
No, I'm about to do that in about 12 months.
Or who gives this man, who gives this woman under this man? See, you've had her under your covering, under your home. She lived at home until she got married. Yeah. And so I've looked after her, we've changed the nappies, we've done everything to all our kids. Yeah. And then, but in that time, in the ceremony, when you give, it's a transfer of covering to her husband. Yeah. And she takes on his name and takes on his family and takes on, our family, but there's a real shift. And so as a dad, you train your kids, especially your daughters, to be given, like, Eliza with Damon and then Monique with Tani. Yeah. But then to have that just her pass away, you just start, did we do anything wrong? What did we do? And then you want to blame, shock, and you want to blame. And we can't blame anyone because there was nothing. No one did anything wrong.
Yeah.
She just, and it really did hit us. And for a lot of marriages, as soon as there's a tragedy like that, it either breaks them or bonds them. Yeah. And if anything, it bonded us even more closer.
Oh, you're a pretty tight unit, you and your lovely wife.
Yeah, Deb, love
Deb,
her.
Yes, yeah,
good girl.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome, mate. And it's like through that tragedy though, you've grown closer, and that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and like grief, grief is not a once-off thing. You live with grief.
Yeah.
But you just can't let it live on you. Yeah. You have to deal with it and then shine through it, walk through it. It's like a spider web. You just, you walk through a spider web, you hate it. It's on you, but you got to just keep walking.
And then the thing is, she's young forever.
She's young forever. Yes.
Yeah, that's one thing I know. And my good mate Adrian, who passed away, is funny. His partner said he never wanted to get old, and so it was still, well, his version of pretty anyway.
I know, yes, but it does. It shocks your life.
Mate, you're retired now, so what's going on for Guy besides getting all the sets at the point?
I'm just the eternal grommy.
You are.
I just, they called me Gammy when I was young because my back arm and grommet, and I just love going surfing. Yeah. And like I said, surfing's a great teacher.
How old are you now, Guy?
I'm 66.
66, and you're still, like, this bloke's out at the point nearly as big as it gets and pulling in. How's the body holding up?
Pretty good. I've got to get a trigin cut off my eye. That's why I can't see people on my inside.
And you're deaf in that ear too, aren't you, Burleigh?
I've got a few problems with hearing.
Yeah, I got Burleighitis too. I'm deaf in this ear, can't see out of this eye.
Mainly, I was talking to Wilbur today, and he's walking on the beach trying to get back in the water, and I'll end up having to I'll have to have a hip operation eventually because it's starting to go, and it's just all that trying to come off the bottom, hitting the top. So. But apart from that,
you had your knee a while ago, but is that all good now?
I just take time out of the water, but I'm fit.
Well, so mate, at 66, what's your exercise regime besides surfing? Do you do anything else?
No, just stretch. I do a lot of stretching. Yeah, I don't do any other weights, nothing like that. Just stretching, and surfing. I know I watch what the pros do these days, but that's why they're doing the manoeuvres they're doing. They have to.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not doing that stuff, so I don't really have to exercise that like they do. But just stretching, keeping yourself. Like, look at Jerry Lopez. He's into yoga and stuff. He's an eternal grommet.
Well, you're one of the total eternal grommets, mate. And, so you're just going to be going surfing and that's it, mate.
Surfing, We're looking after Deb's mum. She's 92, living at Palm Beach still in her house, and in a little unit. And so we're just here now because we went away for 2 years, and our other sisters, that was their job. Now it's our job to make sure she's okay. And we're just doing little strike missions. I went up to the sunny coast to watch Bam surf and, and then...
What about your diet? Do you have just a normal diet or?
Mate, I love just food. I eat food. I eat healthy. Deb's a good cook. We eat a lot of healthy stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
But, meat and veggies like normal.
Wow, mate, because you're in great shape, 66, and honestly, folks, if you ever seen him surf out at Burleigh, and he gets all the ways, but you're riding slightly bigger boards now than you used to, I suppose.
But I've gone back shorter.
Yeah, how big is the board you're riding now?
My biggest board, my shortest board's 6'4".
But you're what, 6 what?
I'm 6'1" and a bit.
Yeah, you're probably a bit taller. You've probably shrunk.
Yeah, but I was riding a lot of mid lengths.
Yeah,
I love Joel. My favourite surfers are Joel Tudor.
Yeah,
and Torrent Martin.
Ah, yeah, they're great. I love them. They're beautiful style.
One's a single fin, one's a twin fin, and so I've got some new boards, which I'm really stoked about, and I'm loving it.
Wow, 66 on a 6'6".
Yeah,
that's okay.
6'4",
6'4". Yeah. Oh, you're less. Because I said, I was 59 on a 5'9". I'm still on a 5'9", but But I rode a 6'3" today just to try it out, an old one. But, mate, it looks like, mate, you've had a wonderful life so far, and there's so much more to go. And so are you a bit like me, and you're going to stop surfing when it's impossible?
Impossible.
Yeah. Like, I'll bodyboard if I have to.
I just love going surfing. I got to, even when it's flat, I've got to go I'll take Deb down for a swim in the ocean. You know, like when we did our trip around Australia, there was no inland stuff. It was just all on the coastline all the way around. People go, don't you like inland? No, I want to go down the coast.
Yeah, I know. I haven't. Like, I'd love to go see Uluru or something, but it's just hard to take a holiday where there's no surfing involved. It's kind of hard.
Yeah, but there's some good waves up in the Western Australia.
Yeah, I know. I wouldn't mind going to do that. I have to do that one day. I haven't done WA. Well, mate, it's been such a pleasure to have you on the Green Room and hear your story. And I think, mate, it's pretty inspirational, your life, you know, particularly with everything you've gone through as a kid and an adult, and you're still the smiling man who rips heaps. And if you ever get a chance to say g'day to Guy, say g'day. It's well worth doing. Thanks for coming on the Green Room, Guy.
Hey, thanks, Tap. Awesome, mate.
Cheers,
Bye.
mate. Thank you. You. Thanks for tuning into the Green Room. Hey folks, would you like to get your name in the Green Room podcast? Well, we are looking for sponsors, so if you want to get a sponsorship, check it out at Podfire. Lots of people can hear about your product on one of the best podcasts around the Green Room, so check it out, Podfire. Thanks for tuning into the Green Room. A big thank you to our guests for sharing their stories and insights, and Podfire for bringing this podcast to life. Don't forget to subscribe, like, leave a review, and share the Green Room with your friends. We'll catch you next time for more conversations with the legends of surf and beyond. Until then, catch you in the waves.